Ada collapsed behind the opulent fenced gate, having barely escaped the compound. Tears streamed down her face. Her life felt like a ceaseless loop of suffering. She recalled her days in the village, feeling as if she were experiencing it all over again, sensing every detail as the memory faded, returning her to her current reality. It was morning at the salon, and the atmosphere was tense. Mama Rose was having one of her outbursts, and Ada was the designated target, absorbing the weight of all her frustrations. Ada wept bitterly on the floor while sweeping up strands of hair from the glossy surface. What is this life, she wondered, the burden of poverty and her many struggles feeling heavier than ever. Madame Rose loomed over her face contorted in anger. She yelled authoritatively, demanding Ada work faster, reminding her of the long list of tasks. "I'll dock your pay again. You better hurry up, fetch water, and buy fuel so we can blow dry the customer's hair." Madame Rose shrieked. Ada ran off as fast as she could. It was the third consecutive month her boss, Madame Rose, had withheld her salary, despite her relentless toil. This was happening even though Rose's own father was at home, gravely ill, a fact Madame Rose completely ignored. Ada carried the bucket under the scorching hot sun, walking as quickly as possible, certain that Madame Rose was timing her. Back at the shop, balancing the bucket of water in one hand and a full jerry can of fuel in the other, Ada moved swiftly, every part of her body aching. When she arrived, her cruel boss hissed. "So you decided to pour water all over yourself?" Ada tried to explain that carrying the bucket and the fuel while rushing had caused the water to spill, but the arrogant boss refused to listen. "You want to come here and embarrass my brand? You want to be a disgrace to my customers? For that, I'm docking your pay," the evil woman declared as she stormed away. The pain was overwhelming. Ada fell to the ground, crying in agony, but no amount of tears could change her situation. In the core of the bustling city, where the streets hummed with a relentless symphony, Ada's life existed in the shadows of hardship. Her home, a crumbling structure on the city's outskirts, showed the scars of age, time, and neglect. Her father, once a vibrant farmer, was now bedridden, a mere shadow of his former self. His health had been drained by a mysterious illness his own brothers inflicted upon him using dark magic, all stemming from a dispute over ancestral lands. Ada's days were a marathon of responsibilities. Every morning, before the sun peeked over the horizon, she was awake, tending to her father. Her hands were gentle yet swift as she readied him for the day. School was her only escape, but even there, her thoughts often drifted back to her father's frail smile and the relentless family feud. But it was the salon that truly tested her spirit. Madame Rose's beauty spot was notorious in the neighborhood, not just for its skilled hairstyling, but for its owner's ruthless dominion. Bound by financial desperation, Ada endured the job as a junior stylist, her dreams of university dangling just out of reach like a carrot on a stick. Ada created beautiful hairstyles. People traveled from the city just to have their hair done at Mama Rose's store, specifically to experience Ada's expertise. But her hard work meant nothing to Madame Rose, who never appreciated it. "Ada, don't just stand there daydreaming." Madame Rose's sharp, commanding voice sliced through the hum of hair dryers and gossip. "Sweep this floor, and when you're finished, restock the creams and dyes from the storeroom." "Yes, Madame Rose," Ada replied, her voice barely a whisper, as she grabbed the broom to begin her chores. The salon was her battlefield, and she navigated it daily. That evening, just as Ada prepared to close, her phone buzzed with a message from Madame Rose. "Don't forget, I need those hair extensions from the supplier. Make sure you're there by midnight or don't bother coming back tomorrow." Ada's heart sank. The supplier's warehouse was on the other side of the city, an hour's bus ride. With a heavy sigh, she locked the salon and embarked on the late-night errand, her mind weighed down with worry. Months of scrimping and saving finally paid off when Ada received her acceptance letter to one of the country's most prestigious universities. It was a sliver of hope, a chance to break free from the shackles of her current life. Her first day at university was a mixture of nervousness and excitement. The sprawling campus, with its lush green lawns and towering buildings, felt like a new world. It was there she met Leo, a charming senior who offered to show her around.
"Hey, you look lost. Need some help?" Leo's smile was warm and inviting. Ada, cautious and guarded from years of hardship, hesitated. "Don't worry, I think I can manage. Thank you." But Leo persisted, his easygoing nature slowly chipping away at her defenses. "Come on, it's no trouble. Let me show you the library. It's the pride of our campus." As the semester progressed, Ada found herself drawn to Leo's kind spirit and infectious laughter. He became her refuge, a friend who saw beyond the surface. Their friendship blossomed into something deeper, something Ada had never dared to hope for. One weekend, when Leo's parents were out of town, he invited her to his house. It was a beautiful, sprawling house, and for a few hours they lost themselves in each other's company. But their joy was short-lived. Leo's parents returned unexpectedly, and the scene that followed was a brutal clash of class and prejudice. "What is this? Who is this girl?" Leo's mother's voice was cold, her eyes scanning Ada with undisguised disdain. Ada's heart raced, her palms sweaty. She stood frozen in the opulent living room, her entire background being scrutinized and judged. "She's just a friend, Mom." Leo tried to intervene, but his father's harsh voice cut him off. "A friend from where? Certainly not from our circles. Look at her. She doesn't belong here." The insults stung, each word a lash against her fragile self-esteem. Ada fled the house, tears streaming down her face, the cruel words echoing in her ears. Leo ran after her, his face a mask of anguish, but the damage was done. His mother's parting words, "Stay away from that poor girl," haunted Ada, a stark reminder of the worlds that divided them.
Leo's apologies were heartfelt, his promises to make things right sincere. But as Ada retreated into her shell, burdened by her boss's increasing cruelty and her family struggles, she wondered if love was just another luxury, forever out of reach. The more she considered it, the clearer it became. Her battles were hers alone to fight. When she returned home, her heart heavy, reality hit her. She was still poor and struggling. Despite the scholarship to the wealthy school, she still came home to leaking ceilings, broken doors, and torn window nets. Her heart ached for acceptance, wishing people could see her as something other than hopeless. Her father remained ill, showing no improvement. Her younger brother was finishing his final year of secondary school and needed to register for exams, but there was no money. Ada knew she had to return to Mama Rose's salon to fight for the money. The thought of that woman's rage felt like bondage. On top of it all, Ada had to balance this with her demanding schoolwork as an aspiring lawyer. The next day at school, Ada tried her best to avoid eye contact and routes that might lead her to Leo, but it seemed Leo knew her too well. He managed to find her wandering the halls. "You know, this is how we met. A beautiful girl wandering the school, and I just happened to find her, not realizing how she would impact my life." Leo continued, walking closer. Before Ada could speak, he went on. "I know my parents are strict, but it's because I'm an only child. They had me after 13 years of marriage, and I'm the sole heir to my father's business. Leo, I'm sorry, but I have too much going on. I don't want to get tangled in this. It was nice meeting you, and I appreciate the moments we shared, but I have to go. I'm late for class." But Leo wasn't one to give up easily. He gently held her arm, stopping her. "You didn't let me finish," he said, flashing the charismatic smile that had first charmed her. "I'm not making excuses for what happened. I'm saying I will protect you. I really like you. Here's the thing. I'm in my final year. Once everything is sorted, their opinions won't matter in my life," Leo reassured her. Ada looked at him, her eyes filled with both doubt and love. Not wanting to discuss it further, she changed the subject. "Do you know if there are other scholarships available at this school? My brother would like to come here." Leo looked around, then leaned in closer. "Ada, if you're asking about the money, I get it. I'll give it to you tomorrow." Ada was shocked. She hadn't intended to ask for money. "No, you don't have to. I just asked a question. And the answer is no." "Ask me how I know? That scholarship was sponsored by my father. He only did it to win the election, okay?" It hit her like a brick. Every conversation with Leo revealed how different their worlds were. To think, his father was indirectly the reason she was at this prestigious school, as her savings had only covered enrollment. It opened her eyes. Wealthy people seemed to do things only for appearances. She began to wonder if Leo was the same. The next morning, Leo met her at the school garden and handed her cash, a whopping 500,000 naira. I'll send another 500K for his books and uniform after his exams, and hey, don't thank me. Leo dashed off to class. Ada held the cash, utterly shocked. The money that would have taken her 5 months to earn was given to her in less than 24 hours. As happy as she was, she also felt fear, thinking of Leo's parents and their hatred for her. A few years passed. Ada and Leo managed to keep their love alive despite society's disapproval. Even Leo's friends disliked Ada. "Guy, you never follow us to the club anymore because of this your girlfriend, Abby?" One friend asked one night. "She lets me go out, but I'm in a relationship now, guys. I can't be doing that anymore," Leo replied. "Hope she didn't use juju on you," they mocked, laughing. Leo was working as an intern in an engineering company, earning next to nothing. He relied completely on his parents for money. "It's only a year, Dad. Next year I'm moving up. The company already listed me as top staff," Leo reassured his father one afternoon while asking for a large sum of money. "You can take this money. I hope it's one of the last times you ask," Papa Leo said, gesturing for him to leave. Stressed and frustrated, the old man watched his company statistics decline. "Darling," Leo's father called to his wife, "is that boy still seeing that poor, wretched girl?" Papa Leo asked angrily. "Yes, my darling, he's still seeing her secretly," she replied. They decided to cut Leo off financially. They had already suffered major losses in their company and couldn't afford to waste money on a rebellious son. What would Leo do now that his father had cut him off? Leo noticed his monthly allowance slowly reducing, then stopping completely. He dashed into his father's office, demanding an answer, but his father ignored him as if he weren't there. His mother entered and ordered him to leave the premises. Completely distraught, and with nowhere to go, Leo ran to Ada's house. "What are you doing here?" Ada asked, confused. "Please, let me in. I need to talk to you," Leo cried. As Leo entered Ada's house, he immediately realized how privileged he was. It was a small house filled with cracks. He could see the patched, leaking roof and wooden doors. He ignored his surroundings and tried to explain his situation. "Ada, I have to tell you something. I know I got accepted at that engineering company, but the contract states I work for a year with little compensation. I didn't think it was a big deal since my parents would cover my expenses, but that's changed. I don't know what to do." Ada held his arm, comforting him, offering a shoulder to cry on. But as she did, she realized the complexity of the situation. Leo was a rich kid, unused to the struggles of the world. He had no idea how to survive this. Ada looked up at him and said, "Don't worry, I'll find a way." Ada decided to return to Mama Rosa's salon. The next day as she arrived, the arrogant woman stood outside laughing hysterically. "It's so funny you think that just because you got into a fancy school, you're suddenly a rich girl," the salon owner sneered. "Welcome back to reality. You will always be a poor, wretched girl." But this time, Ada didn't cry. She knew why she was there. She worked day and night trying to fund her father's treatment, her brother's classes, her own needs, and basic family necessities like food and water. To top it all off, Leo started asking her for money.
"Ada, I can't even use my car. I have to take public transport now. My cook said she won't work anymore. How will I eat? I can't cook. I have that DeVito concert next week, but I can't go," Leo lamented. "My friends have deserted me. I have nothing, Ada," he continued. "You have me, Leo. I'm just amazed you're ranting about this. Welcome to life, I guess. I never watch TV enough to crave a celebrity concert. I take the bus or trek to save costs. In my world, we cook our own food. Look, I will support you however I can, but if you keep complaining like this, it makes my efforts feel like nothing." Before Leo could defend himself, Ada asked him to leave. "It's fine. I just had a very tiring day and I have a test tomorrow. Just go. Just leave." As Leo returned to his lonely mansion, his parents ignored him, pretending he wasn't there. He thought to himself how unprepared he was for all this. He couldn't withstand the hardship that came with being with Ada. He blamed her for his parents cutting his allowance, and he resented that she didn't appreciate his sacrifice. That night, Leo went straight to his father's office and fell to his knees. "Father, I'm back. Please forgive me. I was never meant to associate with that poor girl," Leo pleaded. His father walked up and hugged him. "My prodigal son," his father laughed. "I never took it personally. You were just a boy, but now you are a man." They embraced and laughed, calling his mother in. It was a celebration. Their family was reunited. Leo's mother was quick to suggest another girl. "Ah, my son, there's this beautiful girl I know. Darling, tell him about her. Your childhood friend, Ben, the Minister of Health's daughter?" As the light faded, Ada was still struggling at Madame Rose's salon. One evening, the room started spinning. She fell to the ground and was rushed to the hospital. The doctor warned it was due to stress. Ada looked around, but there was no sign of Leo. "You didn't inform him?" Ada asked her mother. But Leo had been informed about Ada's situation. He just chose not to come. Ada felt an intense betrayal, but she knew getting well was the priority. The expenses weren't going to disappear. While she was lying in the hospital, her father walked in. She was stunned to see he looked much better. "I guess you'll be taking care of me now, Papa Ada," said from the hospital bed, feverish and nursing a headache. Her family was there for her. Shortly after she recovered, her father's brother mysteriously died. As her father's health improved, the family feud ended. Ada's father was often seen going to court, signing documents, and bringing home stacks of papers. One afternoon, he returned distraught, papers flying. He collapsed, completely broken. "They said I need a lawyer. Oh, where will I get the money for that?" Papa Ada cried out. In that moment, it struck Ada. She was studying law. She could navigate this. "Papa, I will be your lawyer," she exclaimed. "But have you even practiced? You'll be challenging the best lawyers. Ada, you are still in school," her father said skeptically. "Papa, this is our only chance. Let's take it," Ada insisted, holding her father.
Meanwhile, Ada's school was walking distance from Leo's workplace. Every day she went to class, she hoped he would speak to her, but he never did. Soon, that hope died, and her hurt turned to anger. He betrayed her. Even when she helped him for a year while he wasn't paid, and after his family cut him off, she struggled but still made room to support him. He never appreciated any of it. The day of the court hearing arrived. Ada dressed in the only official clothing she owned. She had rehearsed her statements, but when she arrived, her words failed her. The court was packed with villagers who knew her father as a good man. Serious lawyers sat opposite, meticulously watching for any error in Papa Ada's paperwork. It was time for Ada to stand and defend the very fight that had nearly killed her father. She couldn't speak. Her words were gone. People began to exchange glances. She saw her father's face, holding back tears of heartbreak, believing his daughter wasn't strong enough to defend him. But Ada wouldn't let that happen. She began. "I had a speech planned. I wanted to read a script for my father this morning, but if you ask me who my father is, I'd say he's the man who drew half the community to court on a Monday morning. That's how much people want to see him win. He's the man with no education who filled out a court form so accurately that even your faces," Ada pointed to the senior lawyers, "softened when you viewed it. My father owns this land. I have watched him fight every battle for it. I will not be fighting another battle again," she declared firmly. The crowd cheered, causing a disruption. The opposing lawyers asked how she could present herself so well while only a student. She presented the evidence of her father's ownership, and the land was declared Papa Ada's. Only then did Ada see the land they had been fighting for. They took a short trip. "Papa, where is it?" Ada asked as they moved through a forest. "Are you not seeing it? All this forest we are passing through? This is the land," Papa Ada explained. "Wait, what?" Ada said in utter shock. They were talking about hundreds of acres worth millions of naira. Ada was stunned. She realized how much her life was about to change. They were rich. Automatically, all her struggles were over. It wasn't long before Ada's family began making investments. She'd always dreamed of creating a school for aspiring lawyers. Meanwhile, Leo and his family were in debt. Their company's stats were dropping further, and they were selling properties to compensate. They were in their parlor one morning when they saw the news. A new law firm created by Miss Ada Kalu. Leo jumped from his seat screaming, "Ada! That is Ada!" His parents rushed to see the poor, wretched girl who was just in their living room yesterday. As they looked at her with despise, a light bulb clicked. Leo's father smiled and leaned closer to his son. You two were lovers, right? She's worth millions now. Marrying her will save our family. I don't think she'll talk to me. I betrayed her when she needed me. I didn't even visit her in the hospital, Leo said, filled with regret. My son, that was a long time ago. Come on, you're a man. You can sweet talk her and get what you want, Papa Leo insisted, as Mama Leo nodded in agreement. They devised a plan for Ada, one she wouldn't see coming. It was the launch of Ada's law school. She had arranged for prospective students to attend, well-groomed students inspired by her story. Ada walks through the venue admiring the beautiful arrangements for her guests. Just as she smiled in contentment, she saw Leo. Her world crumbled. A cold chill ran down her spine. Before Leo could speak, Ada stormed off, leaving him embarrassed. But Leo never gave up easily. He followed her until they reached a small bridge in a garden. Please, I didn't come to spoil your day. I came to congratulate and apologize. Okay, well, thank you and bye, Ada replied sassily. Please, Ada, I know I was a complete fool to lose you, but you need to hear me out, Leo cried out. Ada decided to listen. He proceeded to make a deal. Friends, let's be friends for 3 months. If you don't feel what you felt for me then, we can part ways like we never met. Because I know the girl I met in the school hall, completely lost but marvelous, would agree that I'm a good person.
Fine, we are only friends. I just want to see how this goes, Ada said as she strode off. Leo was ecstatic. The first step of his plan was in motion. He was so overjoyed he immediately called his parents. It's worth a small celebration, son, but there's more to the game, Leo's father said. Leo and Ada started seeing each other. They took it slow, and Ada gradually started to catch feelings again. Meanwhile, Leo was thrilled she was falling right into his trap. One hot afternoon, after Ada had worked for hours at her law school, she headed home, stressed. In the car park, a strange man walked up to her. She ran, but the man caught her, dragging her into a car. He tied her up and took her to an unknown location. Ada was terrified, wondering what she'd done to deserve this. She feared for her life. She had been kidnapped. Her mind raced as she tried to talk her way out, but then the man walked in and shouted, "Surprise!" To Ada's shock, Leo walked in with his friends, cameras flashing. It was a surprise marriage proposal. Ada felt traumatized, but she had fallen back in love with him. She stood up, dusting off her clothes, and walked toward Leo. He stood there, his mind racing. Would she say yes? Would this secure the victory his family needed? He knew being legally affiliated with Ada was the ultimate prize. To the disappointment of onlookers, but to Leo's great victory, Ada said yes. But it wasn't over. A celebration began as Ada and Leo prepared to announce their marriage. Leo informed his parents, who couldn't have been more proud. As her husband, you'll have rights to her finances. You will be the head of the house, Leo's father said. The next step is to withdraw all her money and forward it to our family account. You'll tell her it was an investment and you got scammed, the old man continued. Leo nodded in excited agreement. Then what? He asked. You'll start an argument. Anything to break the marriage. I don't know, cheat. Anything to make her tired of you and leave, Leo's mother added. They all raised a toast to their evil victory ahead. Leo was on his best behavior, buying Ada flowers and whispering sweet words. Ada was head over heels. Or so he thought. Their wedding was the talk of the town. Instagram was buzzing before the day even arrived. The venue cost millions. Leo's family invested heavily to ensure their plan worked, pouring all their remaining finances into it. The day finally came. Ada was dressed in her beautiful gown, a stunning bride. But where was she? She was in Paris, far from the venue, drinking wine alone in a hotel, waiting for the chaos to erupt. Guests arrived and everyone waited for Ada, but she was nowhere to be found. Leo started to panic. They broke down her door and found no one. Guests comforted him as he looked pitiful, his bride missing. But then a video started playing. It showed Leo on the phone with his parents, right there in the garden, detailing his entire plan. That day, Ada had placed recorders all over the venue to deter thieves. But curiosity made her check the recording of his call after they'd agreed to be friends. Before Leo could mutter a word, the police arrived. "What? You can't arrest me. I didn't do anything," Leo yelled in defense. "Actually, we are arresting you for attempted fraud and theft," the police officer said, dragging him out of the venue. The crowd was in chaos. As Leo's parents tried to defend their son, they were also arrested. They tried to defend themselves but couldn't afford a lawyer, so the state assigned them one. On the day of their hearing, Ada stepped into the court wearing beautiful heels and a radiant smile. "Hello, I'm your lawyer."
In that instant, the three devious plotters knew they were doomed for life.